So where are you from? Well, I was born on the highest volcano in the planet, and was hatched by the brink of the hottest lava known to man. Only when a thunderstrike hit my egg, I decided to hatch. What about you? Oh, that's cool. Well, I was born in the lowest depth of the ocean, and only when the temperatures were just right, I hatched. The shell I crawled into was brought down from many generations of my kind. What about you, Garbodor? Some kid threw away his t-shirt and a couple of dirty shoes, and then I was born. F you guys. What is going on, guys? This is Dobbs here, bringing you another Pokemon video. And in this video, I'm going to go over the top 10 best Pokemon backstories in my opinion. These are going to be the backstory of the Pokemon within the games, manga, and the anime. But before we start, I want to show you guys this really cool website called the Pixel Empire. The Pixel Empire is a place where you can buy really cool posters, t-shirts, and even phone cases. Ranging from Pokemon to Dragon Ball Z to even Overwatch, this website has all the cool designs for you to choose from. And in my opinion, this website definitely has the highest quality when it comes to designs. I mean, check these posters out. If you look closely, you can see that the border around the starter Pokemon are actually made with other Pokemon, which is really cool. So if you'd like to get some merchandise for yourself or for a loved one for this holiday season, be sure to use the discount code DOBBS for 15% off your entire order. And on top of that, priority shipping is free and you'll get it before Christmas. So be sure to check out the website and let me know which design is your favorite. And big thanks to Pixel Empire for sponsoring this video. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Starting off this list, we have the strange Pokemon type Null. Now right off the bat, this Pokemon looks oddly familiar. Showing many similar characteristics to Arceus, this creature is among the few man-made Pokemon in the world. Originating from the Aether Foundation, which is an organization who strive to help injured Pokemon, created this weapon in order to combat against the invading Ultra Beasts coming from different dimensions. Codenamed Beast Killer, Type Null was given cells taken from all known Pokemon types with the intention of giving it the ability to shift between types, just like Arceus with plates. With this intention, this Pokemon was originally called Type Full, and 3 of them were created. Unfortunately, all 3 rejected the RKS system and went berserk. In order to calm down the 3 wild Pokemon, the Foundation constructed limiter helmets to lessen the effects of the RKS system's rejection. Afterward, they were deemed as failures and had their name changed to Type Null. Interesting enough, this Pokemon has the ability to evolve when it finds a partner it trusts. In the process of evolution, Type Null destroys its own control mass and becomes Silvally. Even though it still has a wild temperament, it will obey its trainer and even risk its own life for its partner's defense, which is a really interesting backstory for such a strange Pokemon. Swimming at number 9, we have the Red Gyarados. Now, unlike most shiny Pokemon, the Red Gyarados wasn't originally a shiny, and also it is the only known shiny Pokemon to be canon to the games. The reason why this Gyarados became a shiny is because of the harsh sound waves emitting from Team Rocket's headquarters. These corrupt sound waves forced Magikarp into evolution, where it retained its red coloring and became a Red Gyarados. Although the Red Gyarados is the only known case where a Pokemon kept its coloring when evolving, it springs up an interesting question. Was this evil Team Rocket experiment the cause of shiny Pokemon? If you think about it, shiny Pokemon were introduced in the Generation 2 games, the same generation where Team Rocket emitted these harmful sound waves. And not having a clear explanation of why shiny Pokemon exist, it could be very possible that this was the actual cause of altered colored Pokemon, which makes the backstory for the Red Gyarados a very interesting tale, with a mind-bending theory that makes you wonder. Hacking its way at number 8, we have Porygon Z. Now the story behind Porygon Z is quite an interesting tale. Created entirely out of programming code, Porygon is the only man-made Pokemon that was constructed in a computer program. The purpose of creating this Pokemon was to protect computers and other forms of technology from viruses. Not needing to eat, sleep, or even breathe, this Pokemon is a non-stop working machine with doing its job. Now there isn't a huge story behind Porygon, but there are some really interesting facts that makes this Pokemon very fascinating. The reason why Porygon Z looks crazy after evolution is because the new data that was imported into it caused an error. This is likely due to the fact that the data was imported from a non-Silph company source and that the new software isn't compatible with Porygon. It also appears that Porygon gets lighter with evolution. This is possibly referencing on how new technology in our world gets thinner and lighter. Due to the infamous anime episode where Pikachu's Thunderbolt caused hundreds of children to start seizing out in Japan, Porygon hasn't gotten any airtime since, which is kinda sad because this Pokemon is among the most interesting in the Pokemon world. Oh, and a little fun fact about this man-made Pokemon, Porygon is the only known Pokemon that is able to evolve 2 times at level 1. So you could have a level 1 Porygon Z if you wanted to, which is pretty cool. Swimming its way at number 7, we have Red's Poliwrath from the Pokemon Adventures manga. Now the story behind Red's Poliwag is definitely among the best when it comes to starter Pokemon. And yeah, you heard that correctly, the Red from the Pokemon Adventures manga actually obtained a small Poliwag before getting his Bulbasaur from Professor Oak. While swimming one day, Red as a small child started to drown in a small pond in a forest. With no one around to save him, this small Poliwag couldn't do anything but watch Red drown and eventually die. Due to the Poliwag being unable to save Red in his current state, he forced himself to evolve into Poliwhirl. Now being a bigger Pokemon with arms, he was able to save Red from drowning and eventually join Red's team. So without this brave Poliwag, the Red from the Pokemon Adventures manga we know today wouldn't exist. Which is a pretty cool backstory for a common Pokemon that you wouldn't expect to do something so courageous. Transforming at number 6, we have Ditto. Now it's common knowledge that Ditto could possibly be a failed attempt at cloning Mew, because after all, Mew and Ditto share the same color, same shiny color, same weight, and even both learn transform naturally. Although that in itself is a really cool backstory for this mysterious Pokemon, I think we can go further into what Ditto could possibly be related to. Like we all know, Team Rocket are most likely the creators of Ditto, and while trying to create Mewtwo, they threw away these failed clones into trash bags. As the Dittos were thrown away in the garbage, some of them fell out and landed near toxic waste. Having an unstable molecular structure that can be influenced by anything so easily, touching the toxic waste turned them into Grimers. As more and more Dittos turned into Grimers, they started merging together to form even a bigger Pokemon, Muck. Now this same theory applies to Dittos who stayed in the trash bags. These Dittos fused with the material and became Trubbishes, and eventually these Trubbishes fused together to create Garbodors. But it doesn't stop there. You're probably wondering what about the Dittos who fell out of the trash bags, but didn't land in toxic waste? Well, being so vulnerable, this group of Dittos were exposed to harsh sunlight and evaporated in the air, turning into Coughings. And just like Grimer and Trubbish, these Coughings formed together to create a Weezing. Although it's just a theory, and the only theory that I'm going to include in this video, it's still really cool to think about how these Pokemon may have come into existence. Haunting you at number 5, we have Spiritomb. Now the name Spiritomb defines exactly what the backstory behind this Pokemon is. A group of evil spirits imprisoned in the tombstone. Created over 500 years ago in the Sinnoh region, the story behind this Pokemon starts with 108 evil spirits that haunted the innocent. In order to stop the invasion, a group of monks came together and created a spell that would suck all the evil spirits into a keystone for all eternity. As seen in the anime, Spiritomb is a very dangerous Pokemon to be around. It will lash out at almost anyone without a second thought. It really makes you appreciate how strong of a trainer Cynthia is by catching this dangerous Pokemon and building its trust in order for it to obey her every command. Now if you play the video games, you might have noticed that the number 108 is a very special number when it comes to Spiritomb. Its regional Pokedex number is 108, it weighs 108 kilograms, and even some of its base stats are 108. The reason why this is because it's based on Buddhism, where you must overcome 108 temptations in order to reach Nirvana, which is a really deep backstory with real life aspects that makes this Pokemon very intriguing. Blasting you off at the speed of light at number 4, we have Team Rocket's Meowth. Now after 20 years of the Pokemon anime, I guarantee that there's people still out there wondering why Meowth from Team Rocket is able to talk and walk like a human. So if you don't know, here's the story behind why that is. It all started when Meowth arrived to Hollywood, where he became a stray and had to steal food in order to survive. Eventually taken by a group of Meowths led by a Persian, Meowth lived as a member of the gang for a long time. One day, Meowth came across a female Meowth named Meowsy. Having a huge crush on this girl, Meowth tried hitting on her and was quickly rejected. Meowsy told him that she preferred humans and are not into poor cats. So in order to impress Meowsy, Meowth attempted to make himself more human-like by teaching himself how to speak English and walk upright like a bipedal. After transforming his whole persona, she again rejected him by calling him a freak. Heartbroken, Meowth remembered the first English word he learned, Rocket, and was inspired to join Team Rocket, which is a pretty cool backstory for a Team Rocket member. Splicing its way at number 3, we have Deoxys. Now the story behind Deoxys sounds very similar to the origin of Superman. As Superman arrived from outer space, the exposure to Earth's atmosphere made him incredibly strong. The same applies to Deoxys. Deoxys was just originally a virus that was attached to a flying meteor in outer space. It wasn't until a sudden laser beam that shot from Earth, striking Deoxys and transformed him from a round crystalline core organ to a humanoid legendary Pokemon. Although the complete backstory behind this Pokemon has a large gray area, there is still a lot of room to theorize on what more there is to Deoxys. And in my opinion, I think it all begins with the core. It is said that the round core in the middle of Deoxys' body is his brain and that most of his attacks originate from it. This core also transmits radio signals, allowing Deoxys to communicate with other Pokemon of his kind. And when I say Pokemon of his kind, I bring up an interesting question. Since the laser beam from Earth is what made Deoxys what it is today, does that mean that other foreign objects could lead to different types of Deoxys? Let's take Staryu and Starmie for an example. This Pokemon also has a round core in the middle of his body that acts as his brain and its method of communicating. Stated from Bubblepedia that it originated from space, could this actually be another Deoxys that was influenced by water? It really makes you wonder what the origins of Deoxys is. For all we know, Deoxys could be the Mew of this planet, starting out as a core and later mutating into something that it interacted with. The possibilities are really endless. Flying its way at number 2, we have Ash's Charizard. Now the story behind Ash's Charizard is definitely among the most heartfelt moments in the Pokemon anime. Originally belonging to a boastful trainer named Damien, this Charmander was eventually abandoned for being considered too weak, which is downright awful. Leaving Charmander on a rocky outcrop and telling him he would come back later, Charmander's health steadily got worse. Ash coming across his lifeless Charmander, he tried capturing it in hopes he could take it to the Pokemon Center. Deflecting the ball 2 times, Ash's Pikachu explains the situation with his poor Charmander. Later, Ash met Damien and learned that he never planned to return for the Charmander. Outraged by this, but mostly concerned for the Charmander, Brock, Ash, and Misty rushed for his rescue. Running into the Pokemon Center, while Ash sheltered the small remaining Talflame, he eventually healed up and started his way back to the rock to wait for Damien. Confronted by Team Rocket, Charmander blasted him off with a powerful flamethrower. Damien finally recognizing his power, he offered for him to come back to his team. Rejecting the offer from the corrupt trainer, he decided to join Ash's team and was soon to be one of his main Pokemon. Soon this Charmander evolved into a Charizard, and began to stop acknowledging Ash as a worthy trainer. This caused Ash a lot of trouble when going against gym leaders, and even costed him a chance of winning the Indigo League. It wasn't until Charizard lost his first battle against Ted's Poliwrath that made him realize that Ash is a respectable trainer. By morning, Charizard's respect and loyalty for Ash had returned, and probably one of the most epic moments in Pokemon anime history underwent. And for number 1, the best Pokemon backstory in my opinion is Mimikyu. Now out of all the known Pokemon in the games, I think the story behind Mimikyu is definitely the most mysterious. Disguising himself as the mascot of Pokemon, Pikachu, who of course is among the most popular Pokemon in the games, manga, and the anime, Mimikyu holds a sad story behind it. Taking place 20 years ago, Mimikyu was a scary name back in the day in Alola. Labeled as a monster, rumors spread that if you laid your eyes upon Mimikyu, you would catch a mysterious illness that was incurable. Because of this, no one wanted to be around this Pokemon, and on top of that, everyone was afraid to even give it a chance, which caused Mimikyu to become very lonely. To solve this issue, he came across a costume modeled after the popular Pokemon, Pikachu, thinking that if he disguised himself as the loved Pokemon in Alola, people will start to recognize him and not be afraid. Which is a sad story. It's basically the Naruto of Pokemon. In the recent episode of the new anime, it is shown that Mimikyu actually despises Pikachu and wants to battle every chance it gets, which is actually a perfect match for Team Rocket because they've been trying to catch that Pikachu for years. Nonetheless, this is definitely one of my favorite Alola Pokemon just because of his backstory, and that is why I chose it for number 1 on this list. And there you go, the top 10 best Pokemon backstories in my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like if you did, I appreciate it a ton. And also, if you're enjoying the channel, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to follow me on Twitter for fan interactions, video updates, and other cool stuff, follow me at Ethan Dobbs. And a big thanks to the Pixel Empire for sponsoring this video. And for the question of the day, which Pokemon do you think has the best backstory? Be sure to let me know down below in the comments. I can't wait to see what you guys have in mind. And I'll see y'all next time. See ya.